Hello and welcome to another video. I'm recording this specifically for presentation at the Symposium on Artificial Intelligence for Cultural Heritage and Indigenous Futures. As two of our papers were accepted here, I am recording this video to talk about one of our papers, which is titled From Lost Melodies to Living Soundscapes, Open Generative Pipelines for Reconstructing Indic Musical Heritage as Contemporary Electronic Media. Let me share my screen so it's easy to understand the full picture. This paper is authored by myself, Sai Gatupali, along with my partner Poulomi Chakravarty and Ivon Arroyo, who is from UMass Amherst. I am a principal scientist at the Society and AI Research Group, while Poulomi Chakravarty is a research scientist at Bio for Climate, a Boston nonprofit organization. Ivon Arroyo is a professor of learning technology at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. This paper has been accepted to track one, which is towards AI for cultural heritage. The simple challenge I want to talk about is that oral transmission through generations. Grandparents have been sharing their stories to their grandchildren and so forth. And this type of knowledge transmission is slightly vulnerable, especially when it is not written anywhere. It is only oral transmission, oral knowledge, oral communication. At the same time, if you look at composition, which is text or lyrics of a song, they will survive because it's written. However, the original music setting, there is a chance of it being lost, according to Sambamurthy and Jackson. On the other hand, uh, there is a drive for electronic and digital music genres. For example, electronic dance music and breakbeat and trance. These are all some of the genres I'm talking about, but the umbrella term is EDM, electronic dance music. There are many digital platforms that allow us to listen to these, enjoy these music in our daily life, such as you can go to SoundCloud or Spotify or YouTube has thousands of millions of videos, by the way. So the tension arises here. The tension is how can we use these digital technologies to bridge this oral transmission or the compositions that only survive as texts in this modern generative AI age we are living in right now. I'm showing two images here, basically to help understand the heritage as an identity situated within culture. This image, which I borrowed from Wiki, from open access, written in Sanskrit language. There is also occasionally somebody on the internet has borrowed some lines from this palm leaf and then turned that into a song on YouTube. And on the right side, what you're seeing is a screenshot of a DAC, digital audio systems that we use nowadays, where you can modify the signature, audio signature through computer digital systems. According to UNESCO, when a melody is lost, heritage only survives through reinterpretation, and that is what motivates us to pursue this work. Our research question is as follows. How can generative music systems be structured within digitization pipelines to reconstruct intangible musical heritage within contemporary electronic formats while preserving cultural recognizability and linguistic fidelity? To illustrate this research question in a visual format, I'm showing here the lyrical part that you can find in open access and Creative Commons, and the modern generative AI technologies that we have access to right now, and then using all this production pipeline to create genres of the ancient songs, ancient lyrics, such as classical fusion, progressive electro, and so much. So what did we build here? We built a modular generative digitization pipeline, which can be applied to any culture, any language, and researchers from any country can use this to adapt their generative music systems. Human in the loop is at the At every stage, there is a human verification gate that will allow us to verify the quality standards at every single stage. I'll show you the stages in the next slides. Later, we also propose a cultural fidelity rubric, which is towards evaluating the media that you generate using the tools we show you. All of this work is essentially adapted from my own dissertation, doctoral work at UMass, which was focused on cultural signatures in computing, computational literacies. We'll also show you the very end two YouTube channels, which I've been actively maintaining since January 2025, where you have access to about 340 artifacts. This corpus is what I've been adding to, and this paper is all about how and what procedure we have employed to create that, and also to verify the cultural situatedness, the fidelity of the songs that we've created. Like in all research, in our work also, there are some tools we utilized. For example, all the compositions were borrowed from open access, Creative Commons license from Wiki and many other locations. All the references that we have added to the YouTube video descriptions have links to these lyrics and where we borrowed them from. At the same time, the text to music candidates, we played around with three. There are many more online, open access also, but we have access to three tools that were easily accessible and available to general public. For example, Lyria, we played around with Lyria, which Google made it. Suno and Udio are the other two AI tools that we have employed. And later, all the music that has been generated using these tools, we evaluated with our pipeline. Uh, in our internal experiments, we found out while we were evaluating the quality of the outputs from each of these tools, Suno outperformed Udio and Lyria by several folds. And I'll show you how and what in a couple minutes. But uh, it is to be understood that all the upcoming songs that you're going to listen to in this recording are all made using Suno. The seven-stage generative pipeline looks as such. This is a, uh, I also color coded it to help you understand easily. The stage A, let's begin there. So here is where you will make note of all the lyrical part, the instruments that you would like to have, the thematic constraints, male, female, vocals, or a mixed match of all of these in the background, whatever you would like to have, you'll make a note of that in possibly plain text or markdown format. And then you go to stage B, where you use a text to music uh, Gen AI tool. For example, here we use Suno, which allows us to convert whatever you made into like a wave format. It also does MP3s. However, we like working with studio quality, high bitrate audio, and hence we chose wave format. Stage C is where you are evaluating the output. The human in the loop, human verification gate is where you look at several items such as pronounceability, instrument identifying, and so much more. If uh, the constraints that you mentioned in stage A match with what you find out in stage C, you go to next stage. You pass, you go to stage E, F, and G. However, there are many cases where it fails. The output doesn't really have the instruments that you asked for, or sometimes the pronunciation of some Telugu language words, which is often called Italian of the East. It's hard to pronounce. Some words are very hard to pronounce, especially for AI systems. And so there is a high chance of systems failing in but not taking into consideration the pronounceability of tongue twister words. And hence many words, many songs also fail, which shows you how the system works. Any failed output, we work around it, we apply iterative framing on it, and then we try and see if it works. With the pipeline and without the pipeline, what are some markers? What are some identifiable traits that you can find out clearly with the marker that we have developed? It's easy to understand if the language is clear enough for my general audience who will later listen to this song and enjoy it and like the video, possibly. And also, how is the pronunciation in terms of the tongue twisting nature of our languages in Indian subcontinent? Are the machines able to produce really accurate pronunciation that we wanted them to because the lyrics have them in them? How are the instruments like? Are we able to identify the difference between a guitar and a veena? They sound very close to each other. If without the pipeline, you will not make any difference there. It sounds very generic. And also at the same time, genre, coherence, and human verification gates all make this possible to create what we have going on. Human verification fundamentally is where it all uh, is a step change from what machines can do and where we are heading in this domain, generative AI music domain. So because of human verification at every stage, we are able to easily understand if a audio file has passed our test or failed our test. Since implementing our human verification, about 30% of all outputs have been rejected. And of course, we try to refine them. Not everything passes again, but again, out of 10, 3 were rejected. I'm going to show you a sample clip, actually a clip of 5 mini clips. These are all created using our framework. I'm showing here, I'll also highlight with my mouse pointer what song is playing, what genre of the song is playing. All the songs are the same songs in the sense the lyrics are the same. The lyrics have been adapted from the Indian 7 basic notes. We call them sapta for 7, swaras for notes, and they are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, 7. I'm going to play this right now. Sare 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 gare sare gama gare sare gama sare gama padani sare gama bagani sare gama madama maga sare gama padani sare gama pa sare gama sare gama gada sare gama ni sare ma pa dama maga re sa ni pa magare sa re re sare It is important to understand that only the audio was made using our generative AI systems. All the visuals that you see here and editing have been done using Creative Commons tools and including uh, DaVinci Resolve, which is a free tool for professional video editors. We did not stop there. We took it one step high, vertical. We went to a school. We went to a classical music education school, which is roughly 30 minutes from where I live. It looks like this. Tyagaraja Gana Sabha in Chikkadpalli, Hyderabad. We went there. We spoke to a couple of Carnatic music educators who teach at both undergrad and graduate level. We showed them our work. They initially did not believe us. They thought somebody actually sang these songs because they were truly breathtaking to these educators. It's also first time for them to be listening to a song of this high quality. We showed them our internal techniques and processes, and then they finally understood our technicality and the value of this work and how deep we have went. They gave us 4 metrics: linguistic clarity, pronunciation accuracy, musical structure, instrument plausibility. These are the 4 metrics that they look for in the students' work. At the end of the day, the students, when they do perform, these are the metrics that the students will be marked on. And so they gave us these 4. Since these are all made generally towards like a human, original, real human created musical artifacts. But since our work is towards generative AI systems, we had to adapt all the 4 to match our cultural fidelity evaluation framework. It's also a rubric. We use Likert scale for 1 to 5, 1 for poor, 5 for excellence. And we expanded this to match what we found out from working with our internal experiments in generative AI music systems. Linguistic fidelity, linguistic coherence, pronunciation, instrument recognition, modal plausibility, genre integrity, production clarity, and transparency. I show the definitions of this in the last slide. Due to lack of time, it's also clearly mentioned in our paper. But the purpose of this rubric is to evaluate all the generated wave or the MP3 files to run this on them to see where a specific song or a specific artifact, musical artifact stands. I'm going to show for you another clip of several other mini clips, and each of these mini clips have scored at least 4.5 on our rubric. The ones that you heard previously, they were from 3 to 3.5. And you will be able to easily understand the clarity of the saptaswaras, the 7 basic notes, and also the instruments that we wanted him to make. Let me play.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Jivana Poshana, Manasu Margana.
So what you heard here are all the clips, mini clips that I edited them to match the slide format here, but the full videos are all on YouTube. I'll show you the links in a couple of minutes, but each of these songs have scored at least 4.5 or higher, which is truly out of this world, 4.5 out of 5. So what we did is we gathered all the corpus, added them to YouTube channels. So the general public, the actual music enthusiasts of Indic nature, Indic music, cultural heritage can enjoy them. All the educators who attended our session at AI4CHIEF, and also all my viewers who are watching this video, if you're an educator, what I would like to suggest is that, all of our students are right now consumers. They consume a lot of Instagram, TikTok, all these other YouTube, social media, right? What I would like to do is you, as an educator, take this procedure to the students and then make them not just consumers, but creators. There are two types of people, consumers and creators. If there's no creators, there's no consumers. So there's always a demand for creators. And this procedure helps bridge that. And it's also helping us do this in any language, any culture, any nation. Researchers, enthusiasts in that nation can continue this work. Also, all I want to say is that this work is under the big umbrella of digital humanities, but it is helping us bridge manuscripts and compositions from millennia ago using modern emerging technologies and educating in the education domain. These are the 2 YouTube channels which I have developed since 2025 January. You can go back to the oldest, sort them from the oldest, and you can see how those songs sounded like. And then if you come back to the latest ones, you'll see how much the influence has been, not only from the model development itself from Suno and other players in the market, but also the cultural fidelity rubric also helped us shape this. I'm also giving here the QR codes for people who might want to quickly scan on their phones. So you can pause if you want to take a photo. I'm showing here again the same visuals that I showed before. The palm leaf with Sanskrit verses, which many have translated to songs in the Indian subcontinent. can now be made into artifacts that people can actually enjoy. It's important to understand AI is not going to replace any tradition. On the other hand, actually, it is enabling us and extending and enabling us to reinterpret and also create accessible media for generations to come. As a thank you, I wanted to show you a small performance of classical South Indian dancers. Basically, I made this song. I found the video on Creative Commons, and then I craftfully edited the video to match the beats. I will play this for you. That's the end of it, and I'm happy to share with you my correspondence email in case if you have any issues with our work to reproducing this. I'm happy to help you reproduce it at any level. I'm giving you some terms that we have used in this work and also some references for people who might be interested in learning more about this work. Thank you for watching the video.